Welcome back. My name's Connor,
I'm Clay.
And I'm Sebastian.
and this is the PatsCast, your podcast for everything New England Patriots. All right. We're trying something different. We're recording this through Zoom, and we have a 40-minute time limit, so we're going to try to squeeze through an episode in that time frame. So we're recording on Monday, April 26th. We're a few days away from the NFL draft, and we're just going to talk about a few pre-draft stuff, New England Patriots. So we have a couple things to talk about before that, though. I know Clay wrote down a couple things. If you want to start us off.
Absolutely. And this is something you wanted to mention earlier, Connor, with PatsWest going on, starting QB. Well, QB, I don't know what number at this point. Jared Stidham has been organizing workouts out in the West. Connor has a little bit more details on it, but it's exciting. A lot of the pass catchers, and I think Cam Newton was out there, so some pass throwers are doing some informal workouts, which is always good to see, especially for a team like the Patriots that really relies on that off-season work to get players seasoned. Connor, you have some details on that?
Yeah, so basically what happened is Jared Stidham rented a mansion out in California for about a week, and he brought a lot of the newly signed free agents, along with some other, wide receiver tight ends from the team. So, it was Kendrick Bourne, he was out there, Hunter Henry, Jacoby Myers was out there a little bit. Cam Newton visited them on their second day, along with Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if people saw a clip, but you saw him walking in the background as like Kendrick Bourne was doing workouts or something. So that was fun. But yeah, just a bunch of receivers, tight ends being sent out to Cali to kind of, mesh together and get some, you know, um, some preseason workout stuff done. So that's pretty good.
Absolutely. And Jonnu Smith was recently, he posted a nice with the Belichick press conference background. Seb, good, very good. Um, uh, Also, yeah, Belichick recently had a draft press conference where he said they're going to be looking at players and they're going to be drafting. He didn't say much. All jokes aside, another thing that's really important, I was going to mention the Jonnu Smith posing with Cam Newton. That's just team getting along. Yay, free agents. Edelman retired. Number 11, Julian Edelman. Anybody have anything to say about Edelman? Seb, Connor?
All we're going to see for weeks now is Hall of Famer or not, and that's all anyone's talking about. We already knew this was going to be the topic of discussion the second it happened. And honestly, we're not going to get into that now, I don't think, unless everyone wants to. Like we said, 40 minutes, we've got to be quick. But, I think I was disappointed to see him go, but hearing the whole knee story, I mean, he kind of had to. And I think it's, good on him at least the way they did it, where they released him before he retired. He gets like a $2 million bonus. So you could tell it was, a mutual part in a ways. And all I do is I just hope he doesn't show up in Tampa next week, because that would just really drive me insane. But I can't see him possibly doing that.
Well, Gronkowski disagrees with you, Sebastian, but we'll see in terms of that. The last thing in terms of just stuff going around the league that we wanted to discuss is the Philadelphia Eagles onside kick rule change was striked down, unfortunately, but they did, I believe, decrease the number of personnel on the field, trying to make the onside kick, not the onside kick, oh my God, the the kick return or the kick return a little bit more safer. So that's always good to see, making NFL rules a little bit cater to a little bit more of a safer game. And then the other thing is the number change rule. We're not going to get into the specifics of it, but I believe cornerback Patrick Peterson changed back to 7, his number in college that he played in LSU. And the reason he can do that is because he is a free agent who signed from the Cardinals to the Vikings. And not only is it a good pickup for the Vikings because their defense greatly needed bolstering in the cornerback position, but it's something that they don't have to order or exhaust the jerseys that they have previously, so they just make new jerseys for him. He gets a new number. He gets to have a lower number even though he's a cornerback, because that's how it works. Anyways, the main topic of today, if we're all ready to get into it, the draft. The draft. Connor?
Yeah, so some pre-drafts talk. So I think most recently we've heard that Kyle Shanahan um, mentioned that he likes Mac Jones, and then more recently, we've heard that the 49ers are eyeballing both Trey Lance and Mac Jones, but there have been no talks about Justin Fields, who I believe is the second best quarterback in this draft class. So that's kind of odd because, does that mean that Justin Fields falls? Because we all think that it's going to go Trevor, Wilson, Fields, or no, Mac or Lance, but like how far is Justin Fields going to fall if that happens? And then, in addition to that, more recently we've heard that, Belichick actually today, uh, Belichick and Patriot staff mentioned the idea of, possibly trading up to a top 10 spot if Fields does fall. So, you know, I don't know. It's just, you know, it's a bunch of questions at the moment. We still have a couple days left, but you know, Seb, I'll ask you, Big Tasty, um, how would you feel about the Patriots trading up to maybe with like the Lions or the Broncos and selecting Fields at 7 or 9?
So first off, I'll say now that everybody's talking about the Patriots trading up, it almost makes me worried because if the Patriots do anything, it's the opposite of what everyone expects. I think last year we're going to make a big move. We trade back out of the first round. Now this year could be the year we trade up finally, but I don't know. I also want to say there's a lot of narratives I've been seeing about how the Patriots would never trade up for a QB. When was the last time they did that? Well, I will remind you, we had the best quarterback in the entire league for 20 years, so you don't really trade up for a quarterback in that time. But looking at it this way, I think I agree that the first two picks, they're set. We already know that. They've been set for pretty much a month at this point. But the 49ers are in a very interesting situation. They have pretty much outlined it's going to be Mac Jones or Trey Lance. You know me, I love Trey Lance. I love Justin Fields just as much, though, so I'd be more than happy to get him. But I think, once again, with the Patriots, now that everybody's talking about them trading up, now I'm like, I don't know anymore. But I think Justin Fields could definitely fall at least to, I think number 10 is the lowest he can possibly go. Because I think if the Broncos are picking at number 9, like where they are, I don't think they'll ever trade with us, Connor. I'm going to say that. I think they'll more than happily take Justin Fields if he falls. I think there are plenty of teams that will. I think our best bet is to go for number 7, the Lions. I think it's the safest one to get. I think the Falcons will be asking too much, and they're not. I really don't think they're going to take a quarterback at this point. So if he makes it past them, he's going to really fall a lot of wide receivers, tackles will be going right there. I think number 7, that's the one I want. I want to see it happen. I want to see the phone picked up on draft day. Number 7, Patriots. That's what I'm hoping for.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I think that especially with the relationship that we have with the Lions, in terms of previous coaching staff, in terms of having Matt Patricia back in that role, whatever role he's in, I think that goes a long way, and it's going to go a long way in terms of uh, maybe being able to trade up to that number 7 spot, not having to let too much capital go. I mean, I think the ideal situation would just be trading um, obviously our first round pick this year and maybe some picks the next year, because I think that we're going to need all the picks we can get this year in terms of getting wide receivers, especially. That's why I think that if we don't end up freewheeling a quarterback, if Micah Parsons for some reason gets taken too early, and we have to start looking at prospects maybe in the second round for quarterbacks to learn under Cam Newton, or defensive players to learn under the free agents that we signed. I think that we're definitely going to be wanting to either wheel someone like a Devontae Smith, or go for someone like Jalen Waddle, who can serve that Edelman role. I lean towards Devontae Smith a little bit more because he is, although it's the first round, and he is the Heisman winner, he sort of has doubters considering how he is not the number 1 guy. You know, it's been a very long time since a skill offensive position has won the Heisman, especially a wide receiver. And one with this much talent, it's kind of hilarious how there's like 2, maybe even 3, considering the mock draft, wide receivers going before the Heisman winning wide receiver out of Alabama, a proven system in the SEC. It's crazy. It's absolutely mad. And the number one opted out. And he's still going to be picked before, most likely. So I think personally that I would love to see someone like a Trey Lance go to the Patriots, or someone like a Justin Fields go to the Patriots. If they drop to 15, that's just beautiful. But if they don't drop to 15, I can see them trading up with the Lions. But at the same time, if you're looking at like that number 3 draft slot, we haven't mentioned it before, but that was a big trade. The 49ers making a trade with the Dolphins, trading a couple picks, and then trading with the Eagles as well, switching up draft spots so the Dolphins could get in a nice position, and the Eagles were willing to trade down a little bit, still probably being able to wheel a receiver that they wanted to wheel. The 49ers mean business. They are taking somebody that is going to be very highly rated. And whether that is Mac Jones, or they go crazy and draft Justin Fields or Trey Lance, they're not going to skimp. They're not going to trade out of that. The staff, Shanahan, made that trade for a specific reason, and whether it's, we don't like Garoppolo, we don't think he's consistent, or we want to develop someone under him, whatever it is, we don't know. And so I think that that's kind of the thing that the 49ers are trying to show right now, and I think that kind of shows in Shanahan's weird press conference that he had. I think one of you guys was mentioning it before we were talking, and he just kind of said, "Oh, we don't know anything that's gonna happen. We don't
know who's gonna be alive
Yeah.
tomorrow," is what he said, which very strange. I think he's gonna whack Jimmy, is what I basically understood. But
Right. So my question at the end of the little spiel is, a lot of people, especially people who aren't in New England, are talking about Jimmy G going back to the Patriots with a big reunion. What do you think about that? As somebody.
It's not going to happen. I don't believe it's going to happen. I've seen a report saying that if Garoppolo is traded away, their asking price is a first round pick, and I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is worth a first round pick. I don't even think debatably he's worth a second round pick, but Clay and I were talking about this yesterday, going back to the San Francisco at number 3. I don't think drafting Mac Jones at 3 is a good decision at all. Because, obviously, there's a reason why Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers trade up to 3. They wanted to draft a generational talent at quarterback. And to be honest, Mac Jones is just another Jimmy Garoppolo. There are so many similarities. So why have 2 Jimmy Garoppolos on the same team? If the reports say that they're either going to draft Mac Jones or Trey Lance, I'm leaning towards Trey Lance, because just Trey Lance is just that dynamic player that I see being successful in the 49ers. But us as Patriots fans, we're either hoping for a quarterback or a wide receiver in the first round this year. But, what about other positional needs? Maybe on the defense, there have been reports that Micah Parsons might fall to 15, and the Patriots can swipe him up there. And then Bill Belichick actually said recently, he likes J.C. Horn as a prospect, cornerback out of South Carolina. Another cornerback from South Carolina that we have is Stephon Gilmore, so maybe there's connections there. But J.C. Horn, about a month ago, was listed as like cornerback 3 or 4 in this class, but ever since this pro day, he's listed at cornerback number 2, and on some draft boards, even cornerback number 1. And seeing that J.C. Jackson just signed his second round tender, and may not be on the Patriots after next year, can the Patriots draft a really nice prospect in J.C. Horn or Micah Parsons or another defensive stud like Christian Barmore from Alabama?
No, I'll go back to, I keep actually hitting mute on this and I'm still figuring it out, but going back to Jimmy G real quick, I'm going to go even further than saying the whole, I don't believe he's going to be here. I don't want him here. I get the hype from Jimmy G. People loved him back when he's the hero of Brady's suspension, but I think he's an okay player. I think we got Cam Newton right now. I think there's no benefit in having Jimmy and Cam. You got one or the other. I'm happy with Cam. Keep Cam right now. I just think I agree. They're asking way too much for Jimmy G. And it is interesting to note if they take Mac Jones in the third round, or there's a third overall, I think without a doubt they're going to be trading Jimmy G later that same draft day. I mean, I completely agree. There's no reason to have two of the same, very similar players on the same team. I think Mac Jones has a lot of upsides in the sense that he's obviously younger. I think he's a lot more ready looking now than Jimmy G was when he came into the NFL. We don't know his injury prone status yet, which we do know Jimmy's, and that's a big, big X right there. So I think if they take Mac Jones, you're going to see Jimmy G get the door very quickly, I think. Because the main benefit of Mac Jones is that he is NFL ready. He's the guy who has the decision making. He has the smarts. He played with a very similar NFL team almost in Alabama. So I think he's one of the most ready there. No, but looking at it defensively, I'll say with J.C. Horn particularly, I don't know if you guys go on Twitter much and look at all these, every different Boston's like sports account is giving out like jerseys, like guess the pick the Patriots will have and you can win their jersey. And I'm like always saying like J.C. Horn. I don't even want a J.C. Horn jersey, but that way, if they pick defensively and I'm disappointed, at least I get a free jersey. Because I'll be honest, I want to see offense in this draft. I think we all kind of, after last year, our defense was solid, our offense was not. And so I want to see offense so badly. I'm willing to risk anything here. I don't care if we overdraft someone. Rondell Moore at pick number 15 for crying out loud. As long as we get somebody who can catch a damn ball, I'll be happy.
Anybody but an offensive lineman, because that's been a constant these last few drafts. But yeah.
So I would say no. I think that what's interesting about what the Patriots are doing and the situation that the Patriots are in is especially with these rumors, like you were saying. When rumors float around when it comes to the Patriots, they're like, no, 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 no. There was a rumor going around a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, that they were going to try to trade for Jordan Love on draft day. No, they're not going to do that.
The photograph looks so real. It looks so
that
real.
That was photoshopped beyond all belief. That was the worst thing on the planet.
Even if they were going to do that, even if that was actually the plan, now that it's out, not going to happen. And I think what's really difficult is, and I've been saying this for a while now, as much as these quarterback prospects are primo number one this draft, and there's a lot of things that could happen. Even the Falcons, instead of trading out of that fourth slot or taking Kyle Pitts, Hayden Hurst is not a bad tight end by any means of the imagination. He's only getting better too. And yeah, again, of course, they could take and they should take Kyle Pitts, but their offense is already fantastic. And again, this is a Patriots show. But what I'm trying to say here is they could take a quarterback. They could take a quarterback realistically, and then, oh no, what happened? Like, what happened to all these teams like the Lions and the Broncos who are going to have to switch and be like, maybe we don't need a quarterback. Maybe we are high on Drew Lock, that kind of a thing. Maybe we are going to be like, well, okay, let's go for that trade that we made, that giant trade for Goff who played in the Super Bowl. Those teams are not quarterback needy like the Patriots are. The Patriots are, as much as, you could say, Cam is fine. Cam is not the long-term solution. If you look at someone like Aaron Goff, he could be the long-term solution for the Lions if he performs this season. Someone like Drew Lock could be the long-term solution for the Broncos if he performs this season. And, however, those are two things that could pan out. Cam Newton has what? Like, if he is truly Superman, he has, I think, at the most, 5 years of starter quality quarterback play left in him, especially with the way that he plays. We need somebody behind him. And I think that at the end of the day, if people are, going, Patriots are going to trade up, they have to trade up, they have to get a quarterback. We have waited for so long to draft a quarterback. And last draft, we didn't do it. And I think that what's going to happen is if this draft we end up having to stick with a solid defensive prospect like Micah Parsons or some sort of an edge rusher, or someone to back up offensive line members. I was talking to Connor about this the other day. Our 2 offensive line members that are on 1-year deals. If we get somebody to back him up, because Woodward was cut after coming out of retirement and then no longer being on the team again. Crazy 7th round, I think 7th round pick. I think that we could definitely take someone in the 2nd or the 3rd round. I think Trask, I've been high on Trask for a long time. I think Kellen Mond is a proven starter. And there's some people coming out of Stanford. There's some people who I think that could honestly sit behind Cam and not be awful, and be, as much as I love Stidham, an upgrade from Stidham, because he likes throwing balls at the ground a little bit more than receivers. Maybe that's why he did the PatsWest thing. So I don't know. I think that we'll find a diamond in the rough this draft, and everybody's talking about the Patriots in the 1st round, but that's just not how we draft. And I have faith in Belichick and the head personnel to maybe, I guess, draft a really great 1st round prospect, but that's not where we shine. So I'm excited to see these late round picks, even though they're not as flashy.
On that topic, actually, with Belichick and drafting, I think actually the number 1 pick is so important this year, because I think this is the year that Belichick can put that narrative behind him. All you see in Boston sports media is, very vicious reporting, and they're all after him about, you can't draft. Look at the progress of the past, 7 years, no new talent coming in. And I think looking at just last year's draft, that was a really solid draft, and I don't think anyone really gives him credit for. Sure, we traded out of the 1st round. We got Kyle Duggar at like a deal. And I mean, just look at some of the names we got. I think Uche was great last year. I'm very happy with Owenu. So I just think that we can decently draft. I think one more solid draft really will shift that narrative. I think the 1st rounder this year is going to be the real thing that does it. He has to really hit well here to change that narrative. So we'll see what happens. I agree. It's a bit of a mystery, but who knows?
Yeah, please, Bill. It's been 20 years since the Patriots have drafted a quarterback in the 1st round. Just please make it happen. We're in a new phase, a new generation of Patriots football, and we need to make that big leap, like Seb said. So, does anyone else have anything to mention? Nope, we're all set. Okay, all right.
Everyone's just waiting for Thursday. It's like
Yeah,
anticipation. There's like no one knows what's going to happen here.
yeah.
A lot of unknowns.
We're definitely going to record a post-draft episode, but I want to keep note of this 40-minute time limit, and it doesn't have like a little countdown clock at the corner or something. So I'm gonna stop the recording right now, but this video will be released on Tuesday, April 27th, 2 days before the draft, and we'll see you guys after the draft with the post-draft video. All right, see you guys.